All right, so today we have a huge topic. It's very important. This is like if you're building a house, you're building your business, this is the foundation that we're building on. And so why am I starting with corporate culture? And what is corporate culture? Well, corporate culture is, in my mind, 4 pieces: values, mission, vision, and purpose. And time allowing, we're going to go through all of these today. And I used to think, oh, this is just for big businesses. This is for the corporation. It's corporate mumbo jumbo. And it's really interesting. I just read a book called Traction, and I read 2 or 3 books a month. And Traction is a great book. It's really how to do what we're doing. We're building a solid foundation, and we want traction. We want to move forward. We don't want to just spin our wheels. So it's the first 3 chapters of that book is dedicated to corporate culture and why it's so important. It helps us make decisions. It helps us pick the right team. It gives us a solid foundation, an emotional foundation to build on. You know, what's our big why? What's our passion? And what's going to have us proceed and persist during difficult times? So building this may seem corporate mumbo jumbo speak, or like, hey, I need to build my business. I need to be out there marketing. But this is so worth the time and thought and effort, and it builds a really strong foundation for our business. Any questions on this before we just jump right in? Or anything you want to add, how this has helped your business, if you've done this in the past?
I just bought the book Traction, so I haven't started reading it yet, but I have it.
All right. That's the first step. And for people that are really busy, and Stacy, I know you're really busy, my tip is just read 10 pages a day, and in a month you got a 300-page book read. So those little bite-sized progress, that's 12 books a year. That's fantastic.
I just want to say something. I think this is really important too, because as a organizational development person, culture basically rules.
Yes.
So no matter what, culture rules. And as a consultant, when you're going into any organization, that's one of the first things that you're trying to figure out is what's their culture, not stepping on their toes, because otherwise you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. And I don't know for the recording if that was audible, but River's talking about going in and helping with organizations, organizational change, progress, and that this is the guiding light to the business. If people go off track, we make decisions out of fear or scarcity or whatever, ego. So the politics, you go back to your corporate culture, and it helps. Why did you start your business? What's your story behind the business?
Jim, it would seem to me this applies if your corporation
What are you passionate about? Absolutely. Thank you, Ken. What's the need? And if you already have done this, how can you help people? I encourage you to just consider the way I'm defining
What's the
it, because I've to community, country, there's world. A difference in the books that we go read, as big or as small, that are designed for corporations. Again, what's the story? What I'm talking about, which really applies to small businesses, which is, if you've been in business for a while, what was your original? And if you've done it before, or how can you? And it's been 2 to 5 years. Some of the paradigms, probably time to do it again. Where things are a pain in the butt. The foundation. Get back to your dream. And our values, and what do people need, and really who are you helping? But this can all go into sometimes our philosophies do, and sometimes we learn amazing life lessons, and we can incorporate those into our corporate culture. So the first step is a purpose statement. So why did you start your business? What's your story behind the business idea? What are you passionate about? What's the need and or how can you help people? What's the benefit to community, country, world? You can go as big or as small as you want with your purpose. Again, what's the story? What's your passion? You know, what, if you've been in business for a while, what was your original dream? Or how can you change some of the paradigms where you're stuck or where things are a pain in the butt? Get back to your dream. And then what do people need and who are you helping? This can all go into your purpose statement. Any questions on this part? Welcome, Jacob. Thanks for joining us. So the next slide is the vision statement. Why do I have a picture of Steve Jobs on the vision statement? Steve Jobs is the only entrepreneur that I know that created a vision for a company and created products from a company that the public didn't even know about. Normally, we go out and ask the public what they want, what they need. We have focus groups, test marketing. He didn't do that. He said the public doesn't know what they want. And see, he created a vision. I don't know where it came from, but I'm not suggesting to do what Steve Jobs did in the way he did it. But his bio his biography is absolutely amazing. But you know, if you're working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you, and I think that really captures what the vision is for. So what is the vision? Here's some guiding statements. It's what your ideal business will look like in 2 to 5 years with no limits. This is the ideal business. You may not ever get there. So get specific. Your products, your services, your clients, your team, how they feel, what your company is known for. Include key values that are important to you, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And then this is really important. Write it in the present tense as if it has already occurred. So let's go over that again. It's written in the present tense as if it's already occurred. And when you write your vision, it's not just vision. Vision is sight, but use all 6 senses, including how you feel. So what do you hear? You know, do you have music in the workplace? Or do you open the window and have birds chirping outside your window? Do you allow dogs in your workplace? Do you have aromatherapy diffusers? Like, what do you smell? What are your employees like? What are they known for? And I encourage everybody to journal this in broad scope. And then, you know, it could be a couple, doesn't have to be, but it could be a couple, 3 more pages. And then bring it down, distill it to, you know, 1 page or half a page. And you can have it be both personal and professional. So maybe you have one that's for your website and then one that's for your wall, right? Any questions on the vision statement? I've just really encouraged you guys to have a ton of fun with this. Looks like everybody's nodding their head, ready to go.
I like having a ton of fun.
Sherry, welcome.
Yay.
Great to have you here.
Hi, Sherry.
Hello.
And Sherry, I gave you credit for the tip of the day, which is dress the part. Even if you're working from home and you can wear pajama bottoms on Zoom, but just wear, something nice, a nice necklace, nice shirt, take a shower. Everybody's looking good today. All right, now we're going on to the next piece in corporate culture, and that is your mission statement. And I realize a mission statement can be confusing for people because different books have different definitions. So let's just go with this one. As long as you do these 4 parts, you'll have everything you need to build a really solid corporate culture and foundation. So the mission statement is simply key future time-based accomplishments. Does anybody know what BHAG stands for? It's from the
Big,
book
hairy,
Good to Great.
audacious goal.
Yeah, big, hairy, audacious goals. So
That's great.
BHAG, remember that or write it down. Big, hairy, audacious goals. So go big. Milestones, financial goals. And remember, when we're setting goals or milestones or creating our mission, we want it to be SMART. And again, that's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic. And many people, many consultants use T for time-based. I like T to stand for thrilling. It's got to be exciting. And let me show you really quickly. So this is my Peak Business Coaching website. And I have these right on my website under About Us. So I have values, mission, vision, a story about the design of the logo. So my mission is really simple. Now, what are the elements of the mission statement? You know, big, hairy, audacious goals, milestones, and you want it measurable so you know when you get there. So my mission statement, and I should say our mission statement, because there's no way I could do this by myself, is to help 10,000 small business owners make an additional 10,000 a month with 1 more day off per week by the end of 2025.
Nice.
So it's very simple.
That's pretty audacious.
I like that.
It is. And thank you, Ken. Like I just threw it out there. And Bill Gates of Microsoft, probably, I'm guessing 37 years ago, his mission statement was to have a computer in every home in America. Like, that's crazy. That's audacious. But guess what? He did it. He threw it down. And, you know, Disney has a mission of being the happiest place on earth. And their corporate culture is incredible. Their training, their customer service, I mean, their attention to detail, it's amazing.
I love Disney and their training programs. They're just excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything about it is just top notch.
And then notice we have a little rocket ship here, which matches our group coaching logo for our profit acceleration. All right, now the final element of corporate culture is your core values. And your core business values can match your core personal values. You can do them separately or together. I happen to do them together. And just imagine that you could only have 5 core business values. What would they be? And as an exercise, if you look online and do, you know, list of core business values or list of core values, you'll find hundreds of value words, and just go through and select 20 and then narrow it down to 10 and then narrow it down to 5. And the thing is, you can pick a word out of several words. So let's say love or customer service or community. You can pick one of those words, and in your definition, you can expand what that word means to you. So integrity might mean something different to Ken as it does to Simone, as it does to Sherry. So these are just 5 values. And again, I'll show you, not that mine are great or anything, but it's just so nice to let your customers know what they are and to have these written down. You know, notice this paragraph I have on integrity. I'll go ahead and read it just as an example. Integrity is a pillar of success, goodness, and efficiency, and one of our most important core values. In order to serve our clients, at times the best choice is compassionate honesty, telling them what they need to know to grow and advance, even if it's something they don't necessarily want to hear. Honesty with ourselves keeps us making the right choices and doing the right thing for the greater good for our clients. The fascinating thing about integrity is that it is simply being in alignment with our true selves. Thus, it is the easiest and most efficient way to operate. We also walk the talk. We are willing to do what we recommend our clients to do, and are willing to run into battle and take action courageously when we are not sure of the outcome.
Yeah.
So hold
Did
on.
you write that, Jim? Did you write that?
I did. Absolutely.
Oh.
I have a question as well, when you have a minute.
Yes.
How often should you review your vision mission statement?
I think that's up to you. I think at a minimum, you would review it every year. And if you have employees, I would review it quarterly or semi-annually. Because the value is not just creating it. And that brings up a good point. As you're creating it, you want to create it with your team and get input from your team. Obviously, you have the final word, but involvement is really important and agreement is really important. So going over them with you, with everybody on your team on a regular basis is super important. As far as rewriting it, you know, if you have it on your website or you have it in a document or a manual, that's really up to you. But I like doing what's called a summative evaluation on a quarterly basis. And this is something that we'll talk about from time to time. But a summative evaluation stops us from staying on that hamster wheel. We want to look at, okay, what were our projects? Who did we work with? What went well? So a summative evaluation asks these questions. What went well? What did I learn? What could I do differently? What could I stop doing? What do I need to start doing? That's a juicy one. But a lot of times we go from project to project and we don't do that summative evaluation. And so we don't take our lessons and really accelerate.
Perfect. Thank you.
Simone, great question.
Thank you.
Can you say those again, please?
Sure. I just made them up. No, somewhere I have a document with that. So what went well? You always want to start with that, you know, start in a positive. And if you want, you can say what went crappy, but I like to say, what did I learn? And even if you haven't learned something yet, if something did not go well, then you want to ask, well, what could I have done differently? Or what could I put in place to prevent that? What can I start doing? What should I stop doing? And for many of us, I'm going to add, what else can I delegate? Okay, fantastic. So that's what I had as far as slides for today. What other questions do you guys have? How can I help you guys accelerate in the next couple weeks?
Well, first of all, Jim, I'd like to say that was a really good start with the foundational part. And I'm glad to see that you're going to have a kind of a map for us to follow over the next year, you know, relative to it, so we know what to anticipate. And I think Stacy, you said, you know, can kind of anticipate your or develop your questions ahead of time, which make this, you know, this whole session a lot more meaningful, I think, you know, as we
Yeah,
move forward.
absolutely.
But I really like those core values and the foundation you just did. I, you know,
Thank
often
you,
it's
Ken.
set goals, but those goals may not be, I guess subconsciously I have some core values built in there. I couldn't make the goals, but I haven't really thought about those in the way that you presented them.
Yeah, thank you. And I have thought this through. Like if you set goals or you pick marketing tactics and just start jumping through without really building this corporate culture and foundation, the purpose, the vision, the mission, and the values, then you may start off going down the wrong road.
Right.
And this feeds into, you know, I promised last session that I would go into goal setting, but we really needed to go through this first.
Right.
And then we can go into goal setting, then we can go into action planning, and then we're going to go into choosing your target market, then we're going to go into copywriting, messaging, then we're going to go into tactics, and then we're going to go into, okay, how the heck do we drive traffic or get the message out to the right people? So it's all strategic. And this is the time of the call. I want to encourage you guys to take the time when I send out the video recording and I send out that email, there's a agenda document. So fill it out, even if you just scribble a few things on there and come up with some questions, send them to me. It makes a big difference. It's just like, and I was in the corporate world for 20 years, and if we had a meeting and there wasn't an agenda, like, we would enjoy the cookies and people talking about themselves, but not a whole lot would get accomplished. So I really want you guys to get the value, and where the value comes from group coaching or asking specific questions are, you know, if you really don't even know where to start, you know, feel free. I've been there. You know, I've messed up initially as I came out of the corporate world thinking I was all badass and smart, and I failed miserably at first. You know, like being an entrepreneur is way different than the corporate world. So, you know, say I'm stuck or I have a list of 10 things and I don't know which one is the most important. So if you need help prioritizing, or you're stuck, or you're even emotionally unmotivated, you know, we can go back to your why and your purpose. Or any kind of specific questions that you have, whether it's marketing or leadership or operations, customer service. You know,
So I think a really good discussion topic for now might be, because Jim, you just mentioned being emotionally unmotivated right now. And so for me, I would say, like, I struggle with that, particularly right now because of everything that is going on. So, and it's just a roller coaster. There are times where, like, I've got to hunker down. I've got to get some stuff done. And there are times when I am just lost in the news and the everything that's going on right now. So curious to hear from people, like, you know, how do you manage through that? What are you doing to try to separate, you know, and stay focused on the things that we know that we need to do to keep moving ahead?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think we're all feeling that, and you mentioned that in our BNI group yesterday, and you know, my heart goes out to everybody that's seriously affected by it, whether it's the pandemic or or the horrible prejudice and violence. And then on top of it, peaceful demonstrations are great, but the looting and stopping traffic on major freeways, hurting innocent people that that are good people. That's not, anyway, I won't go into judgment around that. But one thing I recommend is limiting news. News is confusing and it's largely negative, and it'll take you down a bad rabbit hole. So we want to stay informed. What I do is I take people that I respect their opinion and I like the way they think, and I let them watch the news and I get summaries from them when I'm catching up with them.
Me too. Me too.
So,
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I'm learning, and this might just be me, but focusing on one thing. Like if I just get one strategic thing done, I mean, we got to take care of our clients. You know what I mean? So that's first and foremost. The rest is optional. Monday, I just had a day where I'm a good planner. I have to-do lists. They're prioritized. I looked at them. None of them meant anything to me. I didn't feel like doing anything. So what I did is I gave myself permission to go for a walk, to play my guitar, to breathe, just like stop and breathe. And then I said, okay, I don't feel like doing anything, but let me just get one thing done. Just one thing, and then I can go home early, garden. So we don't want to do that all the time, but we want to give ourselves a break. Stacy and many others of us are on a train. We're go, go, go. Simone, she's a machine. She's incredible. But we're all, I think, listening to your body, listening to your emotions, validating your emotions, feeling them. I look at, if we're unmotivated, sometimes you just got to do it, right? But sometimes, like, this is major stuff that's going on, and I think we should honor our feelings, have our feelings be valid, feel our feelings, even if they suck and they're uncomfortable, and that's what gets us through to the other side the fastest. Not trying to sweep them under the carpet or make them wrong or anything like that.
Hey, Jim, can I mention something that I think is interesting? Our core values don't have to be hard core values. I have a son that worked for corporate Jack in the Box, and one of their values for their employees and their team out of their top 5 is fun. And it was so important to them that was in their ethics and their code, and their core value was fun. And they made sure that all corporate offices had yoga studios, sports courts, meditation rooms, and frozen yogurt bars. And they encouraged employees anytime, every day, go and get away for a half an hour, get away for an hour, and take care of your insides. But they encouraged people to have fun. And that happens to be my top core value at my age. I'm almost 60. I've done a lot of hard work. I am not a type A, I'm a type Z. I want a very Zen life, and I want to do work that is fun. And when I've interviewed for jobs the last 15 years, they ask me, what's your values? I say, well, I want to have fun. I want to have joy for me and my customers and have that wonderful experience. And so it's an unusual value, but it can be a good one.
That is a fantastic one. And then give me just 1 minute. I'm not less than a minute. 20 seconds.
1001.
All right. So my aunt and uncle sent me a kit it was just a plain wooden kit to make a ukulele. Like the strings were off it. Like it was just a bunch of parts, not stained, not painted, not together. And so Stacy, one thing I did on Monday when I was just feeling like, is I finished building this ukulele.
Cool.
And it's got the hippy dippy peace sign.
All right, now you gotta play us a tune.
I had a brother who died in a motorcycle accident and he was born on St. Patrick's Day. So
That's
a lot of meaning there.
I think it's okay to have fun, and sometimes we process and we strategize. Doing something like that, I'm using my right brain and creativity, and I'm like getting into my fun, hippy dippy, peace, love, happiness character, and insights can come from that. So thank you, Sherry. And the other thing is, if we're super grumpy, or we're below the line in our emotions, and we try to reach out, we try to do things on top of that emotion without processing and getting into a better Zen state. I call it putting chocolate frosting on a cow pie. It just doesn't work. So we got to manage our emotions as business owners. Yeah, River.
Well, I just have to say, Sherry, that is, I have my core values, and that is one of mine.
Awesome. Nice. She's my kind.
Yeah. So.
High five, sister.
And then
Zoom high five.
Yeah, and then the other, I just want to speak to that part of us that we feel unmotivated, or we're our mind's getting hijacked. Because right now our mind's getting hijacked all the time. We're in our sympathetic nervous system probably most of the time. And so it's really important. I've been telling everybody to do this breath, and it's like I call it the resilience breath. And it's where you're breathing in through your nose. You close your eyes first. You breathe in through your nose into your belly, and then you breathe out through your mouth as if you're blowing out through a straw. So it's a long, slow exhale. You do that 3 times to help you move back into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest, digest, and create. And then I just finished up a course that I offered for free, and I'm going to do it again. And I'll let Jim know, and he can send out if he wants, but it's basically building resilience and navigating these challenging times. And how do we do it in a way that we're actually building our resilience versus having it break down?
Can I add to that for a sec? I'm one of those people that has to watch the news, so I'll watch it earlier in the day. And what I like to do is I have to, talking to my clients, because I have so many different clients, so many different categories, I need to be on top of what's happening. But what I like to do is I'll watch the news, I'll get caught up, and then I'll watch 3 or 4 good news stories as well to reinstate my brain that there is good people out there. People are donating food. People are doing charity work. People are loving and kind. And it's so sad what's going on there. But when the spectrum of the whole world, we have to focus on what's good versus the things that are happening that are bad. And then that helps me stay focused the rest of my day that people are good.
Yeah.
I'd like to add on to that. Those are great comments. Kind of going back to Stacy. Been there, done that lots of times, and I think from keeping myself focused and not. Oh, what was that?
Sorry, that was my cell phone ringing.
Okay. I thought you were just cutting me off. Stop there, Ken.
Time's up, Ken.
I tend to drag it out. But anyway, I know what helps me. I just don't watch the news. I get mine off of I limit myself to, my favorite is CNN. Maybe not everybody's favorite, but I'm able to go through that, find the positive things, Simone, also look at the things that make me angry. or upset, and I look at those two, but I limit that. I usually do that when I eat my lunch, or I limit the amount of time I go through it, but I also like to, because you just get, on the news, you just get clips. I like to get some things in depth, so I'll find those things that I want to read about in a little bit more detail, but I limit it to like a half an hour. And that seems to help me stay on track. And then I've gotten what I need to. I can stay focused on my other things. And my wife and I will talk about the news sometimes at dinner, if I want her opinion. But
Great.
teasing.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, thank you.
And the other thing that's counterintuitive, 1 second, River, is when you're feeling down and out or unmotivated, motivate somebody else. So have a handful of friends or family. If you know somebody that's going through a tough time, like I have a niece that's going through a particularly rough time. So on Monday, I gave her a call. So it gets us out of our own stuff. And sometimes our own stuff isn't as bad as other people's stuff. And that can, by reaching out, it's a wonderful thing to do. And we don't, I'll speak for myself. I'm blessed with so many wonderful people, friends, family in my life. I'm still friends with some of my college buddies from track and cross country, after 35 years. So I like having a daily task of reaching out to 1 to 3 people a day and keeping up. And so that is a counterintuitive action item that we can all take if we get down and out. Is that helpful, Stacy? Anything else? Any clarity you want?
Yeah,
Good
no,
suggestion.
I think it is. And I do the same thing as far as trying to limit the news sometimes, but sometimes I just get wrapped up in it, and I realize it's important to just kind of separate from that, and take a break and figure out, what things you have control over and what things you don't have control over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to add, when something really upsets us, it means that it's very meaningful to us. It's really getting us to the core of our being. And so you can use that. If something really excites you, that's great. It might motivate you. But things that really piss you off or get you down, those things can be motivators too. So we can take those things and we can say, what can we do about this? Or what's a foundation or a charity that's really doing something great in this area? How can I build my business? How can I make my business more profitable to be able to make a bigger difference in the world? So it gets us back into our power rather than just kind of feeling helpless about some of these crazy things. And River, you had something?
Yeah, I just said that I looked up a values exercise when you had talked about it. And so I put it in the chat, a link to one where it's an exercise that you can go through.
Great, thank you. And it looks like it's cmu.edu.
Yeah.
So a valid site.
Oh, nice.
Excellent. What other questions, statements, tips, topics?
Probably one I'd like to put in there is just in taking all of this. Yes, I have to watch the news. I'm trying to find out certain information for clients and so forth. But one thing is to just always remind myself to be in gratitude. I'm in gratitude that maybe I live in Auburn and not downtown Sacramento, or just whatever that is, just sort of put myself back on track with those things such as gratitudes.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so important. My mind can go to the negative so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And when I really sit down and write in my gratitude journal, like I might be like, yesterday was. And and then I do my gratitude journal. I'm like, wow, that was a great day. So just where we focus creates more. So that's a super, super reminder.
Yeah, I like that idea, Jim, about, talking, just taking a little time during the day to talk to somebody else that may be unrelated to business. And I've got 4 buddies that go back 30 to 35 years as well. And I have them set up for a call every 2 weeks.
Oh,
And
great.
we chat for half an hour, and hey, they're loving it and I'm loving it. We're all getting older, so we're kind of, let's stay in touch more, and everybody's really liking it. And gives you a chance to blow off some steam sometimes, and other times just kind of catch up on families. And I found that just be terrific for me to give me a break, and also, kind of reach out a little bit. So
Okay.
that's been a very, very beneficial.
Fantastic. Let's switch gears a little bit. Who
Okay.
has a big win from the last couple of weeks?
Oh, I'd say I have one.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get Salesforce operating correctly for this new venture I have, and I'm almost there on the last part. It's a complicated program in some ways, but just
Yeah.
getting it so I can use it effectively. So that's a big win.
Fantastic, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not easy learning complex software systems.
Right.
So congratulations.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah, River, it looked like you had something.
Yeah, I finally was able to finish a mindfulness course that I did. So I'm really happy with that. That was
Yay. Awesome.
a big project. Yeah.
All right, who else? Simone.
After many years of having it in my brain, my business is finally starting to get down on paper and becoming a reality, and not just talking about it, but actually taking action and doing it. So between our calls weekly, and then just focusing on the good things and my why, my grandkids, it's like, I don't want to wake up at 90 and regret that I didn't do it. It's just happening, making it happen. So
Cool.
I'm really excited about that. And my McGruff mission, now that it's come into play, it's just boom, taken off like crazy. So
Do you want to share that story? I love it.
My dog, he's around here somewhere, he's very mysterious. So I've created Mr. McGruff's Mysterious Mind, and he goes and he interviews other animals, and then it ends up talking to the other animals about what their favorite food is. It's a whole interview, but one question is, what's your favorite food and treat, and how do your parents pay for it? So it brings their business into play, and then we talk a little bit about their business, just enough to promote them a little bit, but it's a full conversation between 2 dogs, or him and a cat, or whomever. So it's been getting really good traction. I just started on Facebook the last 2 weeks, so I just wanted to see how it was going, and now he's going to have a whole platform so that eventually whatever dog food I'll be approaching the dog food company, or whatever treats, or like, there's just so many different angles, and he'll be writing blogs about the vets, or the spas, or whatever comes up in the interview.
Yeah, that is, isn't it beautiful? It's brilliant.
Love it.
People, instead of Simone promoting other people's businesses, it's a whole story, and it has this character, and it doesn't even seem like promotion, and it's just brilliant. I love it. And people, I've always said that people spend money emotionally and without limits on weddings, babies, and pets. So, if you can leverage wedding, babies, and pets in your business, go for it. Awesome. And then who wants to put out a commitment for the next couple of weeks until our next call? What do you want to get done?
I'll go again.
Okay.
So because I started on Facebook the last 2 weeks, my commitment now is to get 2 to 3 more platforms started, whether it's Instagram, and I also want to create McGruff's own page for Facebook and start making it his own business versus on my Facebook page.
I love it.
That's my goal.
Great.
Thanks.
Well, in my new venture, I'm going to be making prospecting calls for somebody else to get them business. And my commitment is to make this is a brand new venture for me. So my commitment is to make 10 qualified prospecting calls a day. And
Great. That's fantastic, Ken.
yeah, that'll be new for me because I've normally been door to door, small business, and so now I'll be approaching it from a phone standpoint. So that'll be a big difference and for me, but I'm committed to it. It's just going to be fun. It's going to be
that's
fun.
A great example of that, the commitment and a minimum per day and that consistency, and then being courageous, not letting whatever they say get you down, just get back on the horse. It's that creative, courageous persistence that creates success. So that's a good one, Ken.
Yeah, I
Anybody
expect
else?
to be getting back on that horse quite a bit.
Yeah. Jacob,
So
do you have anything to say?
Oops.
We can't see you, but I know you does.
As far as a commitment?
Sure, or anything.
I was going to go on and say one of my wins that I had in the last week was that I had 5 different students renew for 1-year contracts at my studio.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice.
And then I have 2 new people on a 1-month trial. One's learning Kung Fu, one's learning Tai Chi. So I have opportunities to get some brand new students, and which I find is absolutely crazy right now in this time that, I can still be that attractive to people to want to learn from me.
And Jacob's with Eastern Ways Martial Arts here in Folsom.
Oh, okay.
So congratulations, Jacob. And they're doing Zoom workouts, and they're just opening up the dojo again with all the safety precautions. So great job, Jacob. That's a real testament to the type of person you are, the quality of your program when people re-up for a year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I have something to add. So my win for last week was that I made the commitment with the company who I'm going to be working with for the promotional products. Finally, it was at my priority list, then it got reprioritized with the pandemic and everything else. And so finally moving ahead with that. My commitment for next week will be to get the website information reviewed so I can push that to be going live soon.
All right.
Very good. Excuse me.
Yeah, isn't that great? Like you put out I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this by then. And then you back into what baby steps can you make? So picking the promotional company and then reviewing the web. So making that progress is fantastic. And we have 1 more minute. Any last minute ideas? Yes.
So my commitment is I'm going to get my sales funnel set up for that. And I'm also going to put an article on LinkedIn.
Fantastic.
And do another YouTube.
All right. Fantastic. Corinne, any promises? Put you on the spot.
I'm still sort of struggling with a couple of things that are on my plate. So I've been doing a lot of sort of catching up, webinaring, moving through and sort of separating some of the things that my clients are dealing with. So it's all complicated, but I'm working through it, and I feel like I have a lot of things going. As opposed to one thing. I feel kind of like Stacy did last week, a lot of irons in the fire and just needing to sort of see which ones can drop first.
So let's do some super quick laser coaching on that. I know where you want to go in your vision.
Mhm.
Do you need any more bookkeeping clients to fund that path?
I've actually tapped into one or two that could be possible.
Okay.
As with anything, it's almost like the thing that you avoid is the thing that you start to collect. And so in trying to avoid that aspect, yes, I need it, but at the same time, I'm also doing a lot of the other mentoring, coaching, whatever you want to call that, energy work and such. And so what I'm having to remind myself, what you focus on, you get. And so, yes, I want the bookkeeping clients, but not as the first priority. So that's what's making.
Well, there's a difference between your first priority, like, taking 3 steps to get to the water. And if your goal is to swim and you never take those 3 steps, you're never going to swim.
True.
So what I'm trying to help with is, do what it takes to get a couple clients or whatever it is that meets the revenue model that we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
to get you on further down that path, to help with marketing, to help with, getting admin support or whatever the leverage factors that do take money. So I know it can be confusing. We get more of what we focus on, but if we're not quite ready, then it can make it really hard. Like if you want to be an actress and you don't go to your waitress job, you can lose your house.
True.
Right. So I'm
True.
exaggerating, but I just want to help, because sometimes we get in this swirl, and just taking a couple of actions to move you down that path, I think could be really helpful in the next couple of weeks. And keep doing what you're doing with the energy work and your passion and your true vision, and make sure that you're getting paid for that.
Absolutely. And to work with client, I have a couple of clients who, like our earlier conversation, are going through much of the same of that lack of motivation. They're completely confused as to what avenue to really set as a priority. So just
Great.
sorting that out as well.
All right. Well, hopefully that's helpful. We're a little bit over time. Thank you guys so much. What a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Great.
Have a great couple of weeks. And I'm going to send out a document that has those descriptions: purpose, mission, vision, and values.
Okay.
And I'll also send out the agenda to you and the recording if you guys want to see this again, or at least the first part.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thanks, John.
Have a
Good to
wonderful
see
day,
everybody.
everybody.
Hey, bye.